right, welcome back, everybody, for another episode of the Wednesday Watch List. This is my weekly look ahead to the new comic books that are coming out this Wednesday, April 24th, 2024. Granted, some of the DC books are still coming out on Tuesday, but you guys get the idea. So, new comic book Wednesday. These are the books that I've got my eye on. I'm trying to keep track of based off of some early pre-sales and some of these incentives. Some books got a little bit of buzz on them, some cool covers, some variants, stories, my reading list, etc. Hopefully you're enjoying this series as well as everything else here on the channel. Please let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure that you like, you subscribe, you hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel. And if you want to see the books I'm keeping my eye on for this week, just hang on for a few seconds after the intro and I will be right back. Okie dokie, let's start off the week with my personal picks. Now, these are not always going to be things that are necessarily hot. These are things that I just am fond of, and I'm going to share them and put them at the top of the show. Some of my favorite series, things that I like to read, and also some of the things I am hearing some buzz and some talk about, but not necessarily all of them, because some of those things might fit better in other segments and might find their way later in the show. But with that said, we are going to start off with the Energon verse because I am admittedly a fan. I'm not going to apologize for it. So I'm going to keep putting this in here every time we're getting a new book. And this week we are getting the final issue of Duke. So this is the final and fifth issue for his miniseries, a series I wasn't expecting much out of, but was happily impressed and surprised by what they delivered, which was a quality story with some decent art and just larger ties to this universe that they're creating. I'm excited to see more of this coming forward. I know we're getting Scarlet, I think, next on the Joe side of things as far as miniseries goes. So we'll be looking forward to that. And we still got Cobra Commander to wrap up, and Transformers is still rolling on, and Void Rivals as well. But Duke is definitely a good one, and I'm excited to see how they're going to wrap up this first miniseries. Here's a cover A. You see him going head-to-head with a bat. Cover B shows the bat a little bit better, and you get an even better look on the 1 in 25. And we also have a 1 in 10 and a 1 in 50 here as well, with Destro being that kind of big bad kind of hovering in the background a little bit, or I should say another big bad, because there are more than one villain across this story. And to wrap up with that Duke 1 in 10, yes, I mentioned it before. I even had it on Hidden Gems not that long ago, telling you guys and reminding you guys that throughout this entire series of the miniseries of Duke, all of the 1 in 10s were connecting covers and formed this larger, like, mural kind of like image with these 5 covers. So it runs through the story and is one large image. So this is the final one here on this 1 in 10. I think it's still pretty cool. And I did not get all of these. I was getting the 1 in 25s because I like the card backs. But with that said, I was expecting this next book last week, but it got pushed. And that is the finale for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. At least the Turtles that we've been reading and have been out there for the last, few years, I should say, or should say several years. But IDW is ending this Road to 150 here with issue 150. I think it's Sophie Campbell has been writing this for a good long stretch, wrapping it up because Jason Aaron is going to be giving us a brand new jumping on point, new number 1 soon. But this is an end of an era for this run on IDW. Cover A, there is a wraparound cover here as well that has a boatload of turtle characters. It's almost like a Where's Waldo if you want to go in, try to in here and try to name everybody. Good luck to you because there's a lot going on there. We also have a couple other variants here as well, including a foil in the middle, which I find interesting because the foil here appears to be a virgin cover, and yet it's a virgin cover of the 1 in 25. So they're actually adding a trade dress on the incentive, which is usually the opposite, as you can see with that 1 in 50, taking the trade dress off and making it a virgin black and white cover. That's normally what they do with the incentive variants, but yeah, kind of fun that they did the reverse there with the foil and the 1 in 25. But here, as you can see, there are options for these variants if you were interested. None of these, including the Dukes that I just kind of sped through before, none of them are doing anything above ratio. So if you want them, you can generally get them. Hopefully you can get them for cheaper at your shops or even online, but nothing really shaken the market with pre-sales just yet on either of these titles, but I am looking forward to kind of reading them and checking them out because it is kind of noteworthy that this run of Turtles is ending, as well as that run on Duke is ending as well. Continue on with a new series. Feral is giving us an issue 2. I'm enjoying this so far. I like the angle that they're taking with this story with the cats and rabies, and it's almost like a zombie story. I think it's kind of a fun little twist and kind of take on this, and it's got me interested in this series and where it's going to go forward because I think it's a fun idea. And like I said, I'm in. I'm in. Cover A. Cover B is obviously a horror movie homage poster in Nightmare on Elm Street, as you can see here. Classic, also one of my favorite horror franchises. And then there are other variants here as well. There will be no shortage of variants for this series, even store exclusives, etc. Later printings, we'll see many, many, many more posters, probably. But outside of the posters, we are getting these other variants here as well, including a 1 in 10, a 1 in 25. There's even a glow-in-the-dark edition that has a $10 cover price that I think is kind of fun as well. So, I don't know. Might want to keep an eye on that one. I've already seen a couple of early pre-sales. It might sell for like 15 or 10 to 15 bucks, but it's got a $10 cover, so it's already could be one of those books that just kind of sneaky, sneaky book that people actually want to pay that extra couple of bucks to get that gimmick on the cover. But, buy what you like is all I'm saying. I don't know if I'm going to spend the 10 bucks on the glow in the dark. I'd have to see it in person to see if I really like it or not. I'm just happy enough to get that cover A personally. But with that all said, we are also wrapping up. This is like and almost endings. I mean, Feral aside, here's another series that is ending this week, and that is Blade. Yes, Blade is already ending because we're getting Blood Hunt, and we'll get some sort of new restarts probably coming soon. But this run on Blade, the final battle between Blade and Adana, if I'm pronouncing her name right, is ending here with issue 10. So cover A, there is also a cover B as well as a 1 in 25 incentive that you might want to keep an eye out for. Lionel U. It's not bad. It's a pretty decent cover. It's not really doing much, but I figured I'd take a look anyway. And the 1 in 25 is right around that ratio mark at 20 to 25 bucks. But the asking prices are a little bit more, which is why I want to keep an eye on it. Because right now the listed copies are 35 to 50, even though the ones that sold are selling for much cheaper than those asks. So we want to see where this kind of finds itself once Wednesday hits and copies are actually in people's hands, because pre-sales can be very deceptive. I will say that pre-sales can be deceptive. They are a gauge, but they are not a tell-all of books that are generally going to be sought after or hot after release, or vice versa. Like, anything can still happen. But that's why we're watching. That's why we're keeping an eye on it. With that said, plan on reading all this stuff. But in addition to this, we will get to my reading list. And I still put this section very high on my show, the agenda, because I find it important. I think reading these books is still important. I mean, God bless you if you just like buying for the comic art and buying for the covers and you just like flipping books because one reason or another you just like flipping comic books. Fine. I mean, have at it, have fun doing it. Hopefully you're doing well for yourself. But the rest of us, a lot of us do actually like reading these things and finding out the stories and seeing them continue with what's inside these books. So I want to make sure that's important here, not only on the shows that I do, but across the channel as well. Like, we actually like comics here. And I love talking about the stories, and you guys let me know what you are into too, because I can't read everything. So I like the suggestions and the recommendations because, it's helpful. Because I can't check out everything. I still have a limited amount of time in my week. So I openly request your feedback in some of the books that I should be reading and checking out. Because even when I get them, I am still slow to act. Like, I know a few of you told me to check out Spider-Boy, and I'm going to get to it. It's still early enough in the run. I can go and catch up. I just got to get down and do it. With that all said, Monstrous is another title. Again, I keep putting it here, and I'm still behind. I freely admit I'm behind on reading it, but it is still there at the top of the pull. Like, I have to sort them out and get everything in order so I can catch up on reading Monstrous. But fantastic story, fantastic art throughout the whole run. It's just there, and just want to issue 51. It's still rolling on. It's it's like Saga for many. Speaking of which, where's that been? I kind of missed that too. With that said, I've been enjoying this series, the Six Fingers and the One Hand. Again, I like the interplay between the two titles, so I'm looking forward to the next volume here, the next issue 3. There is a cover A. there's also a cover B. And I should also note that Monstrous only had the one cover, so you guys don't have to worry about variants there. And even if you're looking at Six Fingers, it looks like we only got the 2 covers here. I'm not sure if they're still doing the secrets. I think maybe the secret thing is done, but for now, there are at least 2 covers for the Six Fingers issue 3. Few more covers, however, for World Tree. World Tree issue 9. Yes, this second story arc is still rolling on. Doesn't have the same momentum as that first arc had, but it's still going, and we'll see how long this title will last with that, because this happens a lot with indie titles. They get a lot of push and a lot of heat going in with the first arc, and then they just kind of lose it as people turn the direction towards the next big thing and sometimes forget about some of these series. But we'll see if World Tree can hang in there. There's still some interesting covers here, but not quite as many as there used to be. They're not giving us like 10 different variants, but we are getting a A cover and a B cover, as well as a 1 in 10 and a 1 in 25 by Sosa Micah, which ain't half bad. So I do like that 1 in 25, and a few others do as well, which is why the 1 in 25 is pre-selling right around ratio to a little bit more, 25 to 30 bucks. And then asking prices are staying that range of like 20, 25, $30. So we'll see if this can gain any traction as something is killing the children once did. Like that was something gained over time. Will World Tree gain any momentum back? I don't know. But for right now, it is kind of slowing down. Speaking of something is killing the children, we are getting a brand new jumping on point and issue 36 here. I think they're going back and telling some old tales with this. This is another series I really gotta catch up on reading. But we have issue 36 coming with a cover A. There is an unlockable cover here, which is a virgin version of cover A. I'm not sure what the unlockable qualification is, but we've been seeing this a lot lately where stores basically get a thank you copy if they order a certain amount. Like they got to order at least 25, and then they'll get like one of these appreciation type books. I don't know exactly the qualifications for this unlockable, but this is an unlockable variant, and already some early pre-sales on the unlockable have been 10 to 15 bucks, which kind of is in that kind of realm of a lot of these, one per store type books. It's, not a ton. They start off kind of slow. Sometimes they gain momentum. Other times they just kind of linger here. But apart from that, there are other variants as well with B, C, and D covers. Not too bad on a couple of these. I definitely like the Frizzen. It's pretty cool. And I think that is I can't remember who's doing the other art over there, but point being, Frizzen is probably my favorite. And there are also variants here as well, including a black and white version of the Frizzen on a 1 in 50. There's also a 1 in 25 and a 1 in 75. And even higher, there is a 1 in 100 Jay Lee virgin cover as well. With that all said, something is killing the children doesn't quite have the, I don't want to say the cachet that it once had. Still a lot of people buying this, which is why they have 1 in 100 incentives, because there are a lot of people getting them, but the aftermarket on these is just not there anymore. You can find any of these variants that I just showed you basically for a ratio or less. So if you're interested, you can get them, but I wouldn't invest in those, if that makes a lot of sense, because I just don't know where the interest is going to come back on some of these books. It is one of those things. I know we're still supposed to be getting an adaptation of this on Netflix, a show of some kind, which is great. But generally, when we get those types of things like the shows and the adaptations, it's usually just the early books that kind of heat up. The rest of it is, it's crapshoot. Not to say that's hard and fast, always the rule. I'm just saying, by and large, that's generally how it plays out. So just don't go throwing away too many of your dollars on a lot of these high ratio incentives, hoping that one day that's going to be the thing, that issue 36 of something is killing the children is going to be the book that makes you rich. It's probably not going to be the one. But with all that said, and public service announcement aside, let's get on to the next title. Again, none of these are selling for above ratio, so you can find them out there. But our next title, Detective Comics. We're starting the third act, I think, of this storyline that Ram V has been telling throughout this run. I love these cover A's, and I love the trade dress. I don't know, there's something about it. Still just catches my eye. And I would have been getting the cover A's over many of these other variants because it's just better. To me, it's just better. I mean, granted, that the gold background there, it's not too bad, but that Gillum March there with Batman doing the superhero landing, it's just, seen it before. It's just not impressing me. But 1 in 25 is not bad here either. But again, these aren't doing anything. You can get this 1 in 25 for like 10, $15 easy if you want to go shopping for one. Not recommending that you do. Just get this, read this, and continue reading some good Batman stories. Now, fresh off of my picks list, just falling into the read pile, which some could see as a demotion, but Ultimate Spider-Man. I'm still into this. I'm still into seeing where this is going, but I feel like a lot of the momentum that this had is also kind of slowing down. Yes, issue 1, the first prints are still pretty expensive, but they're not selling in the volume that they once were, and I'm not hearing a lot of talk about this series as it was just a couple of months ago. But that said, it's still selling very well, and there's still a lot of interest in reading these as I still have it. I still want to know what's going to go on, and we still have multiple covers here as well. Here's the cover A, then we got B's, C's, and D's, and then we also have a couple of variants as well on a 1 in 25 and a 1 in 100 virgin cover there in the middle. Now, still selling for just about ratio for both of these, so not a lot of pre-sale action here, but we'll see what happens over time. Also been catching up. Speaking of Spider-Man, I have caught up and I am up to date on my Amazing Spider-Man. So I'm looking forward to where we're going with issue 48. I know I'm a sucker for milestone issues and what they're building towards. So we're building towards some big event for issue 50, some sort of I'm sure it's just going to be, the Green Goblin's return. I think that's what's being pushed, but here in these issues, we're seeing like the Sinister Six kind of working behind the scenes, getting things all back together, and Peter Parker trying to get his life back in order. And I don't know how I feel about this Jackpot as a character. I don't know. I'm just having a hard time buying Mary Jane as a superhero too, and her power set with the weird, rule, slot machine kind of thing. She doesn't know what she's gonna get. I mean, it's okay for like a one-off. I don't know, see it as a long time thing. I don't know. I'm just not that into it personally. But with that all said, Hollow's Eve, Ben Riley's Chasm still here, playing into this story. Want to see where it's still going. It's still building to something. So I'm on board. Issue 48. I want to see where we're going. With that, cover A is unimpressive. I don't know why they keep letting these. It's just boring. It's just boring. Not to say, I mean, Peaches issue 48, it's not bad, but I wouldn't want that to be a cover A either. It's almost like it's just an art piece. Kind of cool character with the character inside the eye. I believe she also does this on the Black Cat Jackpot with a Black Cat cover, but I didn't put that in the deck. But I do think it's like a little theme kind of thing she's doing right now. And it's all right. It's all right for a variant, but seriously, this cover A is not up to snuff, in my opinion. I think the 1 in 25 here should have just been the cover A. That's more what we need to see. And then we also have the 1 in 100, which is the Virgin Peach Momoko, which again, it's fine. And it's doing okay. As far as pre-sales goes, you can see some people are shelling out, well, $90. Somebody shelled out 150. Asking prices are right around ratio at 100, 130, $200. Again, we'll see what happens. I don't expect a lot of noise out of this one because Amazing Spider-Man hasn't really had one of those big selling books in a while. I think it's just because it has a high print run and just nothing that's really wowed the collectors to go and shell out a whole extra bit of cash on some of these variants. But you never know. You never know which one might hit, and maybe we get a renaissance for Peach Momoko one of these days. But considering the amount of product she puts out, it feels like the market's fed. Like I don't know. I think she needs to if she took some time off, I think then there might be more of a build towards a return. I don't know. But with all that said, let's just keep going. I don't want to waste time just talking about artists and why things aren't selling for more money because that's unimportant. I mean, ultimately, it doesn't matter. You buy what you want to buy, but just don't expect big things out of all these books because most of them, you know how things go. It's the truth of the matter. Rise of Powers of X number 4 and things like this. I'm just waiting for this series to end, but I'm still reading it. But I just do want the end to come swifter. And we're just kind of slogging through it. But I'm an X fan, so I'm used to this. I'm used to this. So we have the connecting cover. We mentioned it last week because we got the fall and now we've got the rise. So the two go together, forming the connecting covers we saw in the initial set. Great. I love the symmetry of it, but again, we're only at issue 4. Let's get this moving. Let's get to the new books, because that's what I'm excited for. Not bad. Your cover here with Jubilee, and then we also got a cover A, and then we've got some incentive variants with a 1 in 25 and a Virgin 1 in 50, Virgin 1 in 100. Again, surprisingly, all just right around ratio. I thought the Jubilee this 1 in 50 might have done something, but no, it's like 40 to 50 bucks. So for right now, they're all attainable. If you want them, you want to spend that money, you can. But it doesn't look like these are things going up just yet. Still rolling on, and as I mentioned, like dragging through stories. Man, this Wolverine Sabretooth War, it just feels like it's taking forever. Part 8. And they're giving him the Stretch Armstrong treatment here on the cover A. All right, that's cool. There is also a B cover, Sabretooth Through the Ages, where, yeah, more Sabretooth outfits if that's your thing. There is also a vampire cover. We'll get to that later once we get to the vampire section. But for right now, we just got these two and the 1 in 100 to share, which is a version of the cover A. And seriously, who wants to shell out like close to $100 for this? I don't. Like, Stretch Armstrong cover, I don't need this. Maybe it's just me, but it's also not selling for anything. I mean, I'd be surprised if this thing sells for half ratio. If it was $50 even. But seriously, why? I don't know. With that said, we're also getting X-Men Forever issue 2. Pretty cool. Brooks cover here on the cover A. There's also a Noto, and then we've got the Hildebrandt with Exodus, and then we've got, other options for you collectors out there. I kind of wish this next one wasn't an incentive, but it is, and it's already doing a little bit of action on the pre-sale market. And not to jump to it, but yes, it's an Art Adams. It's a Mystique cover. There is also a 1 in 50, which is a version of the Hildebrandt, but nobody seems to care all that much about those 1 in 50s, but they keep throwing them out there. Marvel just keeps making them, though nobody really seems to care about them. So it's just wasting paper. But the 1 in 25, this is one that I would have put in my pick section, but I didn't feel the rest of the book warranted it. It's just this one. So we're just going to do a little side note that, yes, this 1 in 25 is something to keep an eye on this week, because it's already selling. It's already selling. To be fair, I also pre-ordered one because I knew it was coming, and I even paid a little above the ratio mark just to get it because I knew I wanted it. That said, $50 to $65 are our early pre-sales already. Listings are right around that $65 range. We'll see if it stays there, if it goes up any higher than that, if it comes down a little bit. Who knows? But Art Adams back again with another 1 in 25 variant, and it is a girl cover. This shouldn't be a surprise. This should not be a surprise. With that, new number ones this week. We're supposed to be getting that RoboForce from the Nasselverse this week. Marco wanted to go and talk about those, but it got pushed, so it's not coming out till next week. But we are getting some other stuff this week, including Darth Maul, black, white, and red. So we're getting a new Darth Maul mini. That's great. Covers are all right. We've got a couple options here as well. Movie picture aside, and then there's the not good Frank Miller. I don't know what's with the pooping squat pose, and then there's like shaking tension, like he's really trying to strain one out. Like, you're gonna blow an O-ring, buddy. Just take it easy. And then, well, there's a Virgin 1 in 100 of it. So if you really want that, go for it. The 1 in 25 is cool as well, but doesn't it look familiar? Does it kind of remind you of the Aja cover? Just dark. It's like they just did the reverse. Yeah, I mean, I like it, but I don't know. It kind of takes away from the fact that it's very familiar. Anyway, the 1 in 25 is already doing okay for that reason. I think it's because it reminds you of that Aja, but pre-sale, yes, one sold for 20, but one also sold for 60. Asking prices 35, 45, 55. We'll see. A lot of these Star Wars variants do this for the first week, and then we see the week after they come back down towards that ratio mark. Not all the time. Some of them stay high. Like that Afro 40, I think, stayed high. but that Thrawn 1 in 25 for the last issue, that's already come back down. Who knows? Who knows where the market's going to go, but that's why we keep an eye on it. That's why we watch it, because I can't afford to buy everything. So some of this stuff I just need to watch just out of the pure fact that I can't afford all these books. But like I said, I do like the cover. I think it is cool, but we'll see where it goes. That said, the 1 in 100, well, again, with the little doggy shakes, and the dog's really straining to get one out. That's what Maul's doing here. This one, also early pre-sales without pictures on some of them, but 100, 130, 140 bucks. Oh, it's above ratio. And then right now, asking price is 140 to 160. We'll see if these Star Wars 1 in 100s get back to that mark where they were selling for like 200 bucks out the gate. We haven't seen it in a while, but will this be the one that brings that trend back into fashion? I don't think so with the poop shakes, but who knows? Maybe. He just needs more brand, or just something to loosen up those bowels. Let the not be so difficult. With that said, moving on from this number one to our next new number one, which is a new Dark Horse title. It's something about vampires and whatnot. Operation Sunshine. Seem mildly interesting. Few covers here. Cover A, I do like that one in the center, and then other no incentives. These are all open order covers, but yeah, not too bad. Tinian, following up on Dracula, we're getting the creature from the Black Lagoon lives. So we're getting, well, actually, it's not Tinian, but following what Tinian did with Dracula is what I should be saying. But now we're getting more Universal monsters. So they're bringing these classic monsters back to comics. And here we go with the creature from the Black Lagoon. I kind of like this. This is a pretty cool cover. And I really do like the Middleton here. There's other, and there's a sketch cover, and there's a 1 in 10 as well. And then we do get some other incentives with some, black and white versions, and 1 in 25s, 1 in 50s, 1 in 75s. That's an Alex Ross in the middle there, by the way. And then there is also a foil version for the 1 in 100. Couldn't get a good picture of what the foil version of 1 in 100 is, so I kind of made my own. Hopefully this gives you the idea what it might look like. So this is my own take on what it might look like. So take that for what it's worth. The 1 in 100 is kind of pre-selling a little bit, right around ratio for the actual sales at $100, $100, but those asking prices right now are looking for 150. So this is another case where what's actually selling is at one price, what people are looking for is at another price. We'll see where this finds itself come Wednesday, once copies hit people's hands. Even though you can see some copies are in people's hands, and they are, trying to get those books out there already. With that said, let's move on to the next book, which is Archie. So Archie Horror, we're getting the Cult of that Wiccan Boy initiation. Yeah, it's another Archie Horror book. I haven't been keeping up with the Archie Horror things. This was a thing more when Sabrina was still on Netflix, but since that TV show kind of ended, I think the momentum on this corner of the Archieverse has kind of slowed a bit. But they keep coming out with product and keep coming out with titles. So here's another one shot. 2 covers here, cover A and a cover B. I think the cover B is a little bit better personally. The Hack cover, because I also like Robert Hack, so I would get that one if I were a buyer. Not sure I'm going to buy it or not. Be one of those things that I flip through it and maybe. So we'll see. Interesting that after all these years, when I think of this character, Dick Tracy, and he's coming back to comics here from Mad Cave, I think of the Beatty movie, Madonna, and all that stuff with the little action figures that I think they were Playmates, right? They were made the same toys as Turtles. That's what I think of. My brother, 10 years younger than me, he had a bunch of these Dick Tracy toys. He liked it. He liked the little figures. So that's what I think of. Curious about this title. Not so much just because of this first image and from what I remember. Yes, look, there's flat top, Forsyth. It's a great flat top. Sketch covers and B covers, but the one that's just really got me thinking I want to check this out is the 1 in 20. Granted, the 1 in 20, 1 in 10 ain't too bad either. That's the Francavilla cover, but that Dan Panosian 1 in 20, I dig it. I should have ordered this. It's just got a cool look. It's got that hard-boiled detective feel, and I am into that. I like that stuff. I like reading those, or I used to like reading those old, Philip Marlowe novels and Dashiell Hammett and that type of stuff. I like the Sam Spades and whatnot. So I'm kind of curious if we're going to get that kind of vibe out of this series. But as I pointed out, the 1 in 20 is already doing a little okay. And I probably should have ordered it. $20 to $40 for the 1 in 20. Asking prices 22, 30, $40. I mean, we'll see where it lands, but kind of wish I would have got one for cheap before it came out. But maybe too late for that. I don't know. I just, like I said, I like the look of this one. Plus, I do like Dan Panosian, so I have been liking his covers, especially of late. He has brought his stuff to like a different level. All right. Another new number one. My buddy at work was telling me about this before I took my break. I'm on sabbatical right now, so I got a little bit extra time to do some of this stuff. But Slash presents Deathstalker. Yes, if you're wondering if it's that Slash, it is that Slash, and he's bringing this Deathstalker character back to comics from Vault. Multiple covers here, cover A, B's, and C's. Pretty cool. I like that. I guess it's the C cover, the white cover. I kind of dig that. And then there's also 1 in 10 that's featuring Slash, so you know who's bringing this to you. And then we also got a 1 in 15. And then we'll take that 1 in 15 and make it a virgin version for the 1 in 25. And then there's also a 1 in 50, which is the original movie poster from what this is all being based off of. So this weird oddball, title from way back in the day is homage here. The poster. The poster looks basically just like this, but as you can see, the credits down below are from the comic, not from the movie. But that's what the 1 in 50 is. I think it's pretty cool. Also, with this release, there were limited to 100 copies, I believe, signed. I guess it's a virgin version of that Slash cover. So Slash signed 100 copies of this book, and they were pretty pricey right out of the gate. Like, it was one of those things that even through the distributor, I think it was like $200, something like that. And then we can see there's already some, I think one pre-sale for a couple $100. Who knows how much that thing could go for, but it's not often you have a comic book signed by Slash, let alone it limited to 100. So it's a weird little thing, weird little release out of Vault. Who knows where it'll go, but yeah, thought it was interesting enough to bring up here on the show. With that said, let's keep this rolling. Man, we're already half an hour in. I'm talking and talking, and we're just getting to later prints, of which there are a few. Yeah, I'm not going to bore you with my thoughts again on incentives for later printings. So, I'm not a fan, but we have some. But before we get to those, we do have a facsimile Green Lantern #1. We have a sketch cover as well as a foil edition, which is a couple bucks more. So the regular facsimile is $4. You want foil, it's $6. There's a sketch cover that's $5. Help yourself if you're interested. Also getting the facsimile treatment, which is just helping to spur all these rumors. I mean, seriously, people are still speculating on Taylor Swift being Dazzler because of her most recent album announcement. Like, she would waste time teasing a movie on her, the billion she's going to make off of her album. I don't think she cares. So I think you guys are reading too much into those teases. Whether she will play Dazzler in the movie or not, I don't think just because she says the word dazzle a lot in her songs means she's going to be the Dazzle. Like, I just think you guys are really reaching. Maybe it's true. Maybe I'm wrong. But, man, I think she has bigger things to concern herself with than this movie. Anyway, this comic, by the way, which we've seen a lot of over the last several months because of all these rumors. But we're getting a facsimile I shouldn't say Uncanny X-Men. This is still technically X-Men 130. Yes, Uncanny was on the title, but it was not officially called Uncanny until 142. So at this time, even with it on the cover, this is still X-Men 130. Facsimile cover. There's also a foil version of it, which makes sense for Dazzler, I guess. I'm still not buying these. It's like $9. Help yourself if you want it, but not really for me. But once again, facsimile incentive 1 in 25 with a different cover, whatever. If you want it, go ahead. Right now, it'll cost you a little extra. Pre-sales $40 to $50 already, and then asking prices in that $40 to $50 range as well. But that's kind of par for the course for a lot of these. We'll just see if this one has any more volume than the others, because even though we see these all the time, a lot of these incentive second prints, even when people are spending these bigger dollars on it, you look, there's like 1 or 2 copies selling. Granted, you could say, well, there aren't that many. It's really hard to find. It's really rare. That may be, but there are also copies listed that people aren't buying. So just because something's limited doesn't mean it's worth something. It's only worth what somebody else will give you for it. So if there's no demand for the book, you can't tell me what it's worth if nobody's buying it. You know? With that said, we'll see. We'll see what happens with this one. Also getting second prints for here. James Bond Volume 2. I think Ennis is writing this Bond series. So we got a second print here on this new number 1. This creepy crying boy cover I remember from Keen Spot. I think I had it in here a while back. Second print on that book as well. Yeah, that is really a spooky cover. I dig it. But second print there. Mentioned Feral in case you missed issue 1. There is a second print for Feral number 1. It's got that Halloween, homage there, but with the cat paw. I think it's kind of fun that they did that. Last week we had third prints for Avengers Twilight 1 and 2. Even 3. But here, issue 4, also getting a second print treatment. So if you're behind on your Avengers Twilight, you can still go and catch up. Then we're getting these. So Ghost Rider, Final Vengeance, number 1, second print. Yeah, that's the Hood Ghost Rider, which, the story is okay so far. I'm still kind of waiting for it to kind of kick into gear. And we're already 2 issues in. But with issue 1, all right, there's a second print. But what people are looking for is this Greg Capullo black and white 1 in 25. For one reason or another, again, I'm just not a fan of these incentive second prints, but people are willing to spend $50, $60, $70 on it, with one listed looking for $70 with 17 watchers. People are curious, but I don't know. I feel like there's only a few buyers for these things, and once that market gets met, it gets forgotten about pretty quickly. With that, we're not done. We still have more. We still have Symbiote Spider-Man number 1. Thanking you for bringing us another second print for this new series, as well as a 1 in 25 incentive that we've all been begging for. Yes, I can't wait to get this one too. One sale, $60. Somebody was willing to pay $60 for this, so there's one listed with somebody asking $75. Once again, yeah, this will probably be hard to find. There's probably not that many, but again, why do you want this? It's a fair question, honestly. If you got a reason in the comments down below, tell me why you want this, and don't just say because it's rare. Because again, that rarity alone doesn't mean everything. There's got to be another reason. Because there's a lot of rare books out there that people just don't care and don't want. So they don't have the value you might expect them to have. But whatever. Again, it's coming. They're still doing this. And we are also getting a second print for Ultimate Universe number 1, which I think is actually probably a good idea because this one was a book that got hot. It started this Ultimate Universe. It's probably coming a couple months late. They should have done this a little while ago. But we are now getting a second print for Ultimate Universe number 1, as well as, well, of course, they have to do it. Gave us a 1 in 25 incentive. And yes, 1 in 25 incentive, pre-sale, $80 somebody paid for one of these. Asking prices, $60 to $70, and then somebody's asking $165 for one. Once again, you can ask $165. That doesn't mean anybody's going to pay you $165, but God bless you, good luck. We'll see what happens. Ultimate Universe also giving us the third print treatment. So much like the other new titles, Ultimate X-Men number 1, it had a second print. Now it's got a third print. And with the third print, they're giving us the 1 in 25 Virgin cover. It feels like they're just doing this just to do it at this point. I seriously do we really need a third print? Is there no more copies of this out there that you guys can't find? A first print of any cover or second print? Seriously? They're out there. So why? Anyway. Third print, 1 in 25. And yes, some pre-sales. $70, $75, $90 even. Don't know why you guys are spending this on this, but asking prices $70, $100, $100. It's bonkers to me. But hey, that's the market. I don't control it. Just get to talk about it and report on it. So that's what's happening. That's what's happening. You do what you like. But if you haven't guessed by now, they're not getting my money for these books. But with that said, let's look at the vampire covers. Final run, 3 more, and then we're done with the month. Blood Hunt will be here, I think, next week. So Blood Hunt's here. The tease and the excitement has been building. Marvel Vampire covers, Spider-Man 48. We got one here. Giant size Dracula 3. Pretty cool. 1 for 1. Again, I'm a fan of these. I like these. Daredevil number 8. Also, we haven't talked about this book yet, but Daredevil number 8. I think it's a legacy of like the release of Daredevil was like 60 years ago or whatever, but it's still just issue 8. It's not a milestone issue, but we are getting the vampire treatment here, which is the final issue of Tomb of Dracula, issue 70, being homaged here. They didn't go for the same color scheme with the blue. I'm kind of surprised they didn't give us the blue like night sky. They probably should have done, but whatever the case, this is what we got. And then our last one, Tomb of Wolverine on issue 48 here. Tomb of Dracula number 26 being homaged. Pretty cool. Again, pretty good 1-for-1 representation. I don't know. I kind of wish I got all these, but at the same time, what would I do with them? That would have been like 24 comics just to find space for. And that's the exact opposite of what I'm trying to do right now. Trying to downgrade some of the volume of books I have in my house here. With that said, I don't know, I might have to do something. Might have to go and try to actually sell some of these books. Just blow them out. Like, I don't care. I just need to get them out of here into somebody else's hands. But with that all said, we'll see. Micronauts. Remember we did this like a month ago? Micronauts variants. When we went weeks without having any. And then this week, we got another 2. So out of nowhere, Spider-Man 48, Micronauts variant. Avengers 13, Micronauts variant. Cool. Same thing with the Marvel foreshadowing. Was again like a month ago, was the beginning of April. We had Avengers, the last issue of Avengers had a foreshadowing variant, and now we got, and I even told you at the time, because these were connecting covers, that the next book would be also the foreshadowing. And it looks like it's foreshadowing the Blood Hunt event. We got all the vampires, so yeah, this is gonna happen. Okay, we kind of knew it was already gonna happen, but thanks for putting it on another cover. And then for whatever reason, Marvel's also calling this Rise of the Powers of X number 4 a foreshadowing variant. I'm not quite sure what we're foreshadowing here, apart from, I guess, Dazzler, but Dazzler's around in Dead X-Men, and Storm with the Mohawk in a suit? I don't know. I don't know what we're foreshadowing here, but there's a foreshadow of some kind here. Maybe she'll be joining the X-Men 97 show or something. Maybe that's what this is. And I'm just missing it. But it's a Nakayama cover. It's kind of cool. Nakayama is one of my favorites, as is Jim Lee. So let's just get right into the Jim Lee section. Yes, artist spotlight for DC. Jim Lee covers. We only have one this week, and I think this might be it. I'm not sure if they missed some, but the month of April is going to be over, so we'll see if there's any more trickling in. But we got on Detective. We got an Azrael. Pretty cool. Yeah, I remember when this character was a big deal way back in the 90s. That was, man, the golden age of collecting for me. Back in the 90s, start of Image, Death of Superman, Bane breaking Batman's back, Jim Lee and Claremont, X-Men number 1. Man, those are some good times, right? Anyway, I had these in the WTF section last week, and I decided, you know what? There's nothing wrong with it. We got Planet of the Apes coming. Cool, let's just celebrate April. So I gave it its own segment, even though I think this might be it. The month of April, more ape covers. Yes, Detective Chimp here on Detective Comics. I think these are all Maria Wolf covers too, which is kind of cool. I like when they have consistency when they do these. Then we also got the Flash giving us, I guess this is Grodd. I don't know if it's Grodd or another one. If I'm wrong, correct me in the comments down below. You won't hurt my feelings because, admittedly, I don't remember this dude's name either. The Yellow Lantern ape character. So if you remember, please go into the comments down below, because right now I've been talking here by myself 45 minutes. My brain's getting a little fuzzy, but still more April covers if you're interested in them. Like I said, I had them in the WTF section before, but not this week. This week I gave them their own little spotlight because Well, we still have a WTF section, so let's get into that next.
WTF, Gary? WTF. What the fuck does WTF mean? What the fuck? Oh.
And with that, let's start off with a weird homage of sorts. Yes, so Ron Lim is giving us everybody's backside on Avengers 13, and it is also a wraparound cover. Uh, cool. I don't know. This is like I don't understand the point of why to do this. It looks like they're running away from the reader. It also looks like it's like when my mom trying to take a picture and she misses the moment, and it's like, all right, you missed it, and you caught it. Everybody rushed past already. Like she's ready to take a picture. The team is rushing at you because that's what you get of what the original cover is. It's based off of this Avengers #1 from 1998. Hey, everybody's coming right at you. That's the moment you want to capture. That's the moment. But if you're slow on the draw or you got a delay, this is what you get, and everybody runs past you and you missed it. That's what this feels like, and I don't understand why Ron Lim. And again, I like Ron Lim. I'm a big fan since when he drew Surfer back in the day. That was my jam. But this was not the best idea, and I hope we don't see more of these. I just think this is stupid. Maybe it's just me. If you guys are into it, tell me why. Sell me on this idea because this is just dumb. I don't know. I think it's just dumb. But once again, just to show you, it's Avengers #1 that's being homaged. And also, look, this character's missing. Look at how packed this is. There's a lot of empty space on this backside. Like, where is Ant-Man or Giant Man? He would be blocking. Oh, there's his leg. So where is this gap? Like, I don't know. There's a behind Beast. Well, behind Beast, there's Rage. Where's Rage? And Swordsman. And is that Puck? Where are those guys? I'm going back again because I don't see them. Are they still trailing? Is this like Puck's vantage point? That's the joke Marco would probably tell about me because of my height. I get it. Short. Point being, this is a dumb idea. Dumb idea. But if you like it, go ahead. Help yourself. And then up next, there is no nut shot of the week. So just to get that out of the way, there's no undercarriage focused shot comic cover. So relax. You don't have to worry about that for this week. But we do have another baffling idea. Just because things go into public domain do not mean you have to utilize them. Why do we have Pooh versus Bambi #1? Seriously? Winnie the Pooh with a gun and a hoodie and shorts, a ill-fitting t-shirt of some kind, and work boots. Why? And why is he attacking Bambi? Also, here's another cover for you. Why is Bambi? What's going on here? Why is Bambi in a suit? And what's with the glowy eyes? I actually don't want to know what this is. I don't want to know. But they made it. They made it. Oh, and we're not done with this. We're going to come back here. Remember this: Pooh versus Bambi. So we can just guess at what this storyline's about. I guess Bambi's a bad guy. Pooh is out for revenge of some kind. I don't know. Let's just get into covers real quick. So this week with covers, we are getting a few oddballs that couldn't fit in my other segments. We're getting these Marvel like reader books where they're like characters reading a cover. I think we teased this one a while back. It's finally coming out. I know people are going to say it's Pulp Fiction, but it's not exactly Pulp Fiction. This is just more, I think, just a natural girl reading on her bed, like a magazine kind of thing. I don't think it's actually meant to be a Pulp Fiction homage. But I know a lot of people will probably sell it that way because of the pose, which is similar. But again, she's not smoking. It's reversed angled. This is just, again, a pose we've seen before. Like, it's not the only pose we've seen on the Pulp Fiction cover box. Like, that was not unique. That's why that was used as the cover box. But anyway, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver #3. get one of these variants here. She's reading an issue of Thor, breaking that fourth wall. And then there's Deadpool and a few other titles just thrown out in front of her. Here's another one that's tough. I like this. I like this Jango Fett #2. I like the idea behind it with the reflection in the helmet. We saw it before with the Mace Windu coming to kill him, which was a better execution, I think. No pun intended. But Aura Singh, she's looking rough in that picture. That's my only problem with this one. It's just sometimes too many lines in the face. It gives her a harsh look. She's not very attractive. But get it. She's an alien and she's supposed to be a villain, fine. But I don't know. It's just not a good look. Anyway, otherwise, interesting idea being reused. I actually prefer this one. If I was to get my Jango Fett covers, I'd probably get this cover. I just like hanging out at the bar with all the aliens and the ambiance, I guess. So I dig this one. The incentive wasn't anything to write home about, so I just went with those two. Okazaki giving us another Spider-Punk cover. I just like these. I could care less about the Spider-Punk character, honestly. He was okay in the movie, but I could take it or leave it. I wasn't like really enthralled to say, well, I need more Spider-Punk. Like I said, he was all right. I do like Okazaki though, so I do like getting these covers just for that reason. And then, to be fair, the Dodson is on the 1/25. It's not too bad as far as these covers go. And this one's doing, again, right around that range of ratio, could be ticking above. You see, somebody bought all of the covers. So there's like 3 or 4 covers. So with the 1/25 incentive for best offer on $40, but then other options are around $30 for this 1/25 right now. So we'll see what happens. Just keeping an eye on it. But, it could do something. Who knows? Speaking of incentives, let's get through a couple of these incentives before our final segment, which will be my favorite for today, the cheesecake section. But first, we have incentives. There's a couple that I like, and they're not doing much just yet. Who knows what will happen? This Last Hunt Predator #3, it's just a really cool, like, Predator cover, if you ask me. I don't know, just something with the metal, the reflection kind of vibe, and I dig it. I like it. It's not selling for anything above ratio, so just pointing it out. I like it. Something simple here with the Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch cover. Also, not selling for anything above like the norm, but I don't know. Like I said, kind of like it. It's not too bad. Superior Spider-Man #6. We are also getting a another 1/25. This one is doing a little above that ratio mark. At times, you can see some copies selling for right around ratio, $30 up to 35. Asking prices still 20 to 30, and then there's the occasional $60 ask. So we'll see where this one kind of falls, but I don't know. Pretty cool, and it's a scan cover. If I'm saying a scan, SKAN. It's not bad. I don't like it. Worth keeping an eye on. As well as bad as this title was, like, this is not a great read. This Wolverine Madripoor Nights, at least not so far. Maybe it picks up as the story goes on, but issue 1 was rough, and I haven't sat down to read issue 2 yet. But issue 3 is coming, and we got a pretty cool Sam Neill Wolverine. If you ask me, I don't know. I like it. Different angle. It is from behind, like that Ron Lim, but I'm not going to give him a lot of crap for that because I still think this one works. Pre-sales on this one, $20, $45. Odd range. Asking prices right around ratio 25, 30, 25 to $30. So once again, we'll see where this falls, but it's got enough to want me to keep an eye on it just in case. I mentioned Daredevil before, it's a kind of a milestone for the character. And with that milestone, we're getting a Frank Miller cover. And as much crap as I've given Frank Miller on his covers for a lot of them, these Marvel covers lately, this one's not bad. I actually like this Daredevil. It fits his kind of exaggerated Sin City, Legends of the Dark Knight kind of style. Works in this case with Daredevil. Yes, he is still squatting, but it's not as popping a squat as the last one that he did. He's on the rope. He's got his baton. I don't know. This one's not terrible. And there is a Virgin version 1/100, which I think is completely unnecessary, but it exists. With that, people are also buying it. Granted, a couple people bought it sight unseen for as cheap as $90 and as high as $200. Asking prices, well, for this 1 in 100 right now, 200, 300, $400. Granted, that $400 is for the set, which means you get the 1 in 25 and the other regular covers as well, but that's really like $50 worth of books at best. So it's mostly the price you're paying for is the 1 in 100. But I don't know. We'll see what happens if anything moves with this, because even those early pre-sales were from February. So that was 2 months ago. So we'll see if anybody is really into this today or this week when the book gets released. And with that, oh man, 55 minutes. Cheesecake covers. Let's see what we got here. We obviously have our norm. We got our Perillos. Definitely have to have our Perillos. We can't have a cheesecake section without our Perillos. Yes, he's given us a Red Sonja. We're also getting Bjorn Barons, as well as a Linzer, and another cover here for your Red Sonjas. This is Red Sonja number 10. And there's incentives and other versions of these as well. I only show you like the basics when we do these. Same thing with Vampirilla. Another Perillo here. This is the storyline with Dracula, Rage. So this is issue 6. A couple other covers here for your fancy, if you're interested. And again, other variations on these covers as time goes on. And then we get back to our Pooh versus Bambi. What does she have to do with Pooh versus Bambi? Even the pillow could have been a Winnie the Pooh pillow, but it's not. It's a cat of some kind. Like, they could have made some sort of tie, but they didn't bother. Not only that, we do have this. There's another cover for you. Is she Pooh or I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on inside of this book. I don't know the point of this book. But Pooh versus Bambi also has this option, which we can make it a little naughtier for our 1 in 20. So yes, there is a 1 in 20 incentive for that book. And here it is. Yeah. Once again, this will probably be very hard to find too. But what does that mean down the line? I don't know. With that said, we're also getting Grimm Fairy Tales number 83. So there you go. I think it's Snow White. I think that's who's running this title. Other options here. I don't know the characters in this. I'm not reading these. I'm just showing you the covers because they kind of caught my eye. Including, look, you're one in a state of undress, but it's big shoulders there in the back. But here, options for covers, including in the middle, 1 in 20. We'll take a little extra off, and then there's your 1 in 20 incentive. Thanks, Zenoscope. Moving on. Jackpot and Black Cat. Like I said, I forgot to put the Peach Momoko cover because it didn't really fit Cheesecake, but even this one doesn't fit too much. It's just a close-up on their heads. It's Adam Hughes. It's not his best. It's not my favorite. I am still a Hughes fan. Don't get me wrong. But the reason why I actually put this in here was as a lead-in for the 1 in 25, which is another Art Adams. And it's another Art Adams female cover. And it is the Black Cat. And you can see why it's going to do well. Would it have done better if she moved the placement of the Spidey mask a little to the left or right? Possibly. Just to be fair. If there was cleavage, this would probably sell for more than it already is. And believe me, I'm putting it as another one of my picks because this is another one of those covers. It's Art Adams. It's featuring Black Cat. Surprise, surprise. It's going to sell well. And right now it's selling for $30, $50, best offer on $65. Asking prices right now are looking for $60 to $65, much like that Mystique cover. Just saying. Keep an eye on it. And if you can get it for cheap, go ahead, get it, make yourself a few bucks if you can. Don't know how long these will last, but, it is what it is. Power Girl. Power Girl number 8. Yes, Crush is showing up apparently in this title. We have a couple of other covers here as well. And that you got Brooks and I forget who's doing this one over here, but a couple other Power Girl options for you, including a classic look. Like this almost looks like a photo, but it's not. It is a painting, but it looks like a classic, like pinup girl style from back in the day, almost like a Betty Page kind of a vibe kind of going on, which is kind of refreshing in a way. Not overly exaggerated, more of a realistic figure of a woman here. And with that, the prices are showing that people actually seem to like this. 30 to $50 on pre-sales. Asking prices are right around that $50 range. So it's been a while since DC has had one of these variants kind of pop. Well, maybe Power Girl 8 will be a turn in the light on moment for them to get them back into the collector investors, etc., spending extra bucks on their variants. Finally, we have Harley Quinn, number 39. Awesome Jenny Frison cover here. I love this kind of 70s vibe throwback. It's really cool. But in addition to this, there's a 1 in 25, which ain't bad. Give classic Harley, but that's not what we're here. This 1 in 25 for a cover like this would normally do well, but I think it's being outshone by the fact that there is a 1 in 50, and this is another book that you need to keep your eye on because this is Harley, bubble helmet, space. We just saw the Nakayama Catwoman. I guess this is just a throwback thing. So this is another one I'm telling you to keep an eye out for this week because it is already doing well. 1 in 50. Image of this came out a while back, so there should be copies out there. Early sales, $60, $80, $90 already for this 1 in 50. Asking prices right now are looking for $110, $125, $140. So we'll see. Will this be a $100 book? Maybe. But only time will tell. Which is why we have them on the watch list to see what happens and to see where things go. With that said, it's been just over an hour. Thank you for checking this out. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for all of the support. Hopefully you're still enjoying this, and hopefully you found my little rundown helpful. I know there'll probably be a few things you'll laugh at me for. Correct me where I made my mistakes. I don't mind it. I don't take offense to it because I know I make mistakes, especially when I do things like videos where I'm sitting here for an hour just talking by myself. There's no one here to check me. So with that said, I will see you all later with some more content. All right.